What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Sender of Chaos and Controversy. And in today's discussion, I'm gonna be going in a different direction with this, okay? I know in previous videos, when it comes to me speaking on law enforcement, I normally, and for the most part, usually highlight the negative, talking about where the misconduct lies, the lack of accountability, and where it doesn't fall. How it seems like we are, as citizens, held at a higher standard than those in law enforcement are. And, bringing up or pointing out or touching upon the controversial topics that surround, like police killings, when it comes to how they tend to go out and terminate life, the brutality, the corruption, and anything that you can find fault in when it comes to law enforcement, and where the excuses come into play, and the lack of accountability again, and how it seems or appears as they're held or we are held at a higher standard than they are, you know, and the things that they have gotten away with, you and I, we know right off the bat that that wouldn't happen, okay? Especially us being just civilians, we know. But with that being said and that put to the side, I'm gonna go with a change of pace. Now, there was a story that I'm sure many are familiar with when it came to Ronnie O'Neill III. Okay, um, it was on what, the night of March 18th, 2018, where whatever had transpired, the end result was that he killed his girlfriend, his daughter, and the only survivor out of that situation was his son. Okay, and it is not to say that his son wasn't subjected to any kind of harm, because he was stabbed and lit on fire. Okay, and the detective that arrived on the scene during that horrific night was Mike Blair, the detective. Okay, and they couldn't release, anything about the son, because his father had to go through trial. He represented himself, which was that was a circus. That was a circus event within itself. And the way I see it, people know how I feel. When it comes to kids, that's the line you don't cross. I don't care what the excuse is, how you feel, or the way you want to go about trying to justify your actions. There's no justification. Okay. Um, I know when I make comparisons, especially when we talk about the crime element here in this country, because a lot of people like to weigh in, trying to throw darts and shade, and being, a little condescending when it comes to the black on black crime, you know, basically surrounding like gang violence and the mindless behaviors of those in the black community. And I know I made a video talking about, well, hey, if you're gonna touch upon the black on black crime, okay, then you may as well, with the interest of fairness, speak on the white on white crime. And I went on to talk about how there are many TV shows and episodes that highlight the types of crimes that go on in the white community that's just fucking mind blowing. The types of crimes that take place and occur. But it basically highlighted how you had like families, like white families, how they like go kill their spouse and their children. But for clarification, I would just want to make it clear that that type of behavior isn't only designated in the white community. Because, as this example clearly shows, you had a deranged boyfriend that was out of his fucking mind that decided to take the life of his damn girlfriend and his kids. And unfortunately, only one survived. Now, with that being said, I know cops get a flack, a lot of bad publicity. And very rarely are they given credit for when the good ones step up, put their best foot forward, and say, hey, you know what? I was a witness to tragedy. How can I remedy this situation? And what Mike Blair did, he said, you know what? This kid has got nothing. This kid, when he was in the hospital recovering, he wanted my presence. He went on to talk about one particular night. It was supposed to have been date night with him and his wife. Before he left the hospital, the kid said, can you watch a movie with me? Little Ronnie, he asked that of Mike. Mike said, sure. So he went and talked to his wife and said, you know what? Instead of us having a date night, we're going to have a movie night. We're going to have a movie night with little Ronnie. Okay? And from there, a bond and a relationship formed. They went through the legal proceedings in the process of adopting this kid. A black kid who came from a tragedy within his home, within his community, to be welcomed, to be protected, to be loved by none other than a person who is not only white, but of law enforcement. Now, I know many people say, oh, God damn, Tony, here you go. Like, what the fuck was... Because I want people to understand, in order for people to come together, we need to find common ground, okay? And I don't look upon the situation with a white family adopting a black child, because there are black families who have adopted white children. But you don't really hear too much about that. And because of the way society is, there's always a lot of things that we frown upon instead of applauding people who step up and take responsibility where others choose not to. Okay? I could sit there and say the same when it came to me being adopted. I'm a mixed child. I was in the custody of my mom, who was white, you know. She had a white family. But when she passed away, when she committed suicide, her family immediately gave me up for adoption. They didn't want to have nothing to do with me. Sealed anything having anything to do with me, knowing who they were. And who ended up adopting me? An all-black family. Adopting a mixed biracial child who grew up to be an adult. Okay? So, you know, there's a lot to be said and a lot of credit to be given to those when we look at everything under a microscope and want to lay out the spreadsheet to say that like everything is racial or use generalizations, as I pointed out in earlier topics of discussion, to say, hey, you can't make blanket statements. You can't have an overall generalized view pointing out the negativity, trying to classify and put everybody into one category, because it doesn't work that way. As much as it is convenient when presenting an argument or making a point, it just doesn't sit right. It doesn't. Because you can find holes and flaws in that narrative and in that argument that would say or suggest otherwise. And here's a prime example proving just that. Okay? And yes, they already had 5 children of their own. And they were encouraging and supportive of their parents making this decision to take in this child who came from such a tragedy. Now, I'm sure he's going to have like his point of view, and I would say, you know what, and it's something to be said too. If there would be anybody to have some kind of feeling or outlook or just how they perceive things, will be children growing up experiencing such things that they have experienced, to have a say about some of the things that we argue amongst ourselves about. You know, and that's taken into consideration, because he would be the prime example to say, hey, you know what? I was a black kid whose dad tried to kill me, succeeded in killing my mom and my sister. My sister, who I've had a close relationship with, because she had challenges herself growing up. But I had this monster of a father that wanted to end my life. And it took a person of law enforcement to save my life. And that example of Mike Blair is what we need more of. Not these road cops that's running around just feeling like they fucking Judge Dredd and judge, jury, and executioner to us. Because when there are actual monsters out there that need to be taken and wiped completely off the damn map, they pay no mind. You've seen examples of when there was a domestic dispute going on and the cops tucked tail and ran. See, when there's actual need for police presence to be had, they're of no use. But when they know that they can be overbearing or come and harass you and target you in numbers, hey, they all in it, right? But when they really need to be present and need to do their damn job, they fall short. They actually quit. You know, because there's too much danger, or they can't take the pressure, or there's too much criticism. You know? But I digress. But I just want to make this more of a positive video to highlight a perfect example of, you know, people, especially in law enforcement, those that, you know, take a person out of a tragic event and provide a home for them, a safe haven, to give them some sense of security, to know that they are safe. And this isn't the only story, but this is one that is recent and current that I could pinpoint to say, hey, there are white people out there that have reached out and have helped black individuals, bringing them out of an unfortunate circumstance, and did what they could to give them or provide a better life for them than what they were subjected to beforehand. Anyway, that's all I got. Until next time, until next video, please like, share, and subscribe. And hey, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. Tell me what you think. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Help me out with this damn algorithm, because this... Peace.